Welcome to this episode of Influence to Equity. Today we have a special guest, a friend of mine, Mr. Donny Savage. He is a multifaceted entertainer, entrepreneur. He's carved his way out of a unique niche into the entertainment industry, rising to fame through several viral moments on social media, has worked with some major brands such as MGM Resorts, Hyundai, and Jack Daniels, as well as music videos with some of the largest and biggest names in the music industry, including Chris Brown, LMA, and Roddy Ricch. His journey from viral sensation to a respected figure in film and entertainment is a testament to his creativity and entrepreneurial spirit. Donny, thank you for being here.
That was amazing. I'm blown away. I'm flattered.
Donny, obviously I know your story. Walk me through what led you from Michigan, where you're from, to LA, which is the land of opportunities. However, it can also eat people up. So tell us
Oh,
about
for
your
sure.
journey.
So I got started, I guess, like in the early stages. It feels like the early stages of content creation back in 2015. It was kind of like a hybrid moment for me because I was testing the waters with modeling,
Mm,
but I was posting the content on social media before it was like a thing. You know what I mean?
hmm
It was 2015. Uh, that year I was still in real estate at the time. It was my rookie year. And the checks I was getting from that, I was just investing into my flights and the modeling stuff. I would kind of drop one or two a month. Like I know we shoot content and we drop stuff every single day, but like back
Yeah.
then it was slower pace. I kind of treated it like a feature film moment almost. This one this month, this one this month, and then we just leverage it and do things in between. But to make a long story short, we're in Miami on South Beach and it was hot. I don't know if I can curse on here.
You can curse if you want to. Yeah.
Okay, okay. It was hot as shit. And so I'm sitting under the tree and my videographer is like, all right, you hold down the fort real quick. I'm gonna run into Walgreens and I'm gonna go get this Hershey chocolate bar. He goes in there, he buys a Hershey chocolate bar, comes back, and then he's breaking down the concept to me, and I'm like giving a little bit of resistance at the same time because it sounds like goofy. But by that time, the first chocolate bar melted. So he had, it's 90 degrees. So he had to run back in and grab another one. And by this time I was like, all right, let's just do it. And literally just ate the chocolate bar seductively, quote unquote.
Mm.
And next thing I know, like a month later, when we actually put it out, it went ultra viral, like 2.8 million views in 24 hours. And I know that's not like even a big deal anymore because anything and everything can go viral now. But back then, like that was a big thing. Leveraged that, rode the wave. I want to say about a month later, I'm getting calls from Chris Brown's team, Keisha Cole's team at the same time. I technically would have been double booked that weekend for two music videos, but I had to choose. And I get an email, and it's from Keisha Cole's team. I was actually on the iPad on FaceTime with her talking about the concept, but the Chris
Mhm.
Brown thing came around. I got a call. I sent my manager the voicemail. Then he sent me the text like, "Hey, it's Chris Brown's team. They want you." Had to make a split second decision.
It's crazy because, when I think about content creation I started in 2014, 2015, just around the same time. I didn't take it
Yeah.
seriously until 2019. But,
Okay.
I think about the opportunities that are presented, and because everyone wants to go viral, right? But being
Right.
viral for the sake of being viral doesn't really make sense. But if you can
Right.
go viral and then leverage it into an opportunity, my God, that's how my entire career was built. That's how you've built your
Mhm.
career. And I think too, sometimes we overthink content creation. We overthink, like my first viral video was a water video. Like I was making these like detox waters because I just like fun
Mhm.
water things. Not really a big deal, right? I was doing them in my stories and people were like, could you save them and put them on the feed in order for us to like get these recipes? My first million video was a damn water video. Imagine if I hadn't have posted that video.
Right.
So people are
Yeah.
overthinking content and not posting thinking it has to be perfect. It was shot on like an iPhone, I don't know, it might have been my 10 or 11 or something. And from there though, I ended up getting a brand partnership with a water company. So it's like you don't know
Mhm.
where these opportunities are going to go and where they're going to lie or where the hidden gems are going to lie if you don't just post the damn video. So imagine you're thinking, I'm not doing this damn video. I'm not doing this chocolate concept video, and I'm not eating the chocolate seductively. There's no Keisha Cole, there's no Chris Brown, and then there's no like the next moment, which is actually kind of how I found you, was
Mhm.
walk me through what the heck happened and how you ended up in like the video that blew up overnight when you did LMA. Because Boot Up was a whole
Ah,
thing.
this is 3 years later, and it's like you know the hustle and bustle of
Mm-hmm.
like the content creation and trying to stay relevant and figure out new avenues. Mind you, I'm still living in Grand Rapids, Michigan at this time, and the content creation thing is it's still not a thing. I was literally in my parents' basement playing 2K, trying to figure out my next move. Like I'm planning my next move.
Yep.
It's 10 o'clock at night. The same casting director that booked me for the Chris Brown video emailed me that night. I mean, thank God I was up at the time because I would have missed
Right.
that. I'm like, damn, Sarah just hit me. Sarah, name is Sarah. She hits me up like, hey, we want you for this music video.
Hmm.
Could you make it? And she sends me the treatment. She sends the song. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
We negotiated my fee and they flew me out the next day. I shot for maybe 12 hours or so. Put me on the flight the same night, went back. I didn't know like the magnitude of how big the song was going to be. I was in South London where LMA is from.
Mm-hmm.
I was hosting an event with some of my boys out there, and that's when the music video dropped. And people were like stopping me, like, "Yo, ain't you such and such, blah blah blah." And I was like, "That's perfect. I'm not mad at it
Yeah.
whatsoever." And when I get back to the States, now I was catching a wave for the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
and it's even bigger. Like everybody's sending me the video, like any bar, any club. Um, yeah, it was crazy.
With we go between, like you mentioned, with entertainment and with content creation, and they're two very different spaces, so we're
Right.
consistently having to stay relevant. So now you don't get to post once a month. We are on the internet every single day. We are making posts every day. And then you have your podcast, and then we work in entertainment, and the hustle and bustle and the like you have to be face forward at all times. How are
Right.
you then able to leverage that video or those moments into the next aspect of your career as a creator or into entertainment?
Obviously, like sharing the content for one, like
Yeah.
that's just off the rip. But two, like I still had those relationships that I had garnered, years before when it came down to promoters and stuff like that. So I was still getting inquiries to get booked to be able to show up in person, and then the song is playing while I'm there kicking it, and then I'm taking pictures and we vibe, and so like it's just another moment
Yeah.
to keep the ball rolling at that time. But then it was like the next step for me. I was like, okay, did the content, did the music videos. Like Hollywood was starting to knock on my
Mm-hmm.
door at that time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they actually started to knock on my door back in 2016, 17. I just
Yeah.
wasn't ready. Like that's still a different lane. And to be honest, it's like maybe I gave the idea that I was extremely comfortable on camera even back then, and I wasn't.
Mm.
I
Mm.
would just have to block things out because there's one thing shooting content 101 with a videographer and you're doing a concept and they're walking you through it. It's a little more comfortable. I went from that to being in front of a 100 team crew like instantly.
Yeah.
To that point, it was like it's go big or go home. Like
Yep.
you can do this and you can allow everybody to see you sweat, or you can just you just try to run through it and just get it done as smooth as possible, and then you can like exhale afterward. Like, oh shit, I don't even know how I just did that. Like that was me all the time.
It's and I'm glad you said that, because that has been almost my entire career.
Mm.
I said I would never get on Instagram. I would never get on social media. Now look at me 5 years later, or I guess 9 years later now. I said I would never become an entrepreneur. My dad was an entrepreneur, and I saw how hard he worked, and I saw the sacrifices and what it took. And I was like, I would never become an entrepreneur. Now look at me, I'm an entrepreneur. I wasn't sure if I ever wanted to elevate beyond. I mean, I've always known that I was made for more. Like, I'm small, I'm short, I'm 5'4", but I've always had this very grand, big dream of the things that I would accomplish and create. Um, but my concern was I prepared for those opportunities? And I guess content creation kind of prepares you for the next steps. And to be honest, I can honestly say, as an influencer, it also taught me entrepreneurship in a way, because I had to learn how to run production. How did I run my finances? How do I do contracts and brand deals? How do I build relationships and network? And so, like, hence the name Influence to Equity. That's kind of what led me here. And then I think about the moments where I feel very unprepared, but I say yes to the things that are for me. I say yes, and I'll figure it out later. I'm gonna learn it. I'm just gonna figure it out on the fly, and if not, I'm gonna do my best and hope for the best. Also, I'm someone who prepares, and I like to make sure that I'm ready at all times for an opportunity. But I think people assume that they have to be perfect, or they have to have it all figured out, or like you have
Right.
to take acting classes first, or you have to do like creation first, and you can't use your phone, and you need to start with a Shure mic for your podcast. But like, we all started somewhere. And half the time, I'm scared to death before I go to an audition. When I tell you I did not want to do acting because of the auditions, I'm like, this is that bull right here. This is not for
Yeah.
me. I remember the first time I went on set, there was 100 people on set. I was like, this is not like making content by myself. This is different.
Back then, when I was getting those inquiries about acting, I'm like, I don't even know where to begin.
I know.
Like that's when I was
It's
in Michigan, and they're like, yeah, we need a self-tape audition. Okay, what is a
What's
self-tape?
a self tape? That was
How
my
do you
first
get?
question.
Yeah, like how do you put that together? Oh, I got to have this and this and the lighting. Like I didn't know what I was doing until like
Right.
I moved here, and I had to immerse myself in this space. But to be honest, like I'll do even better. My first like big role, like I didn't even audition for. Like when I booked Coming to America, I just got a call when I was in New York, and they were like, "Hey, we want you for this." I'm like, "Okay, this is like the week during Fashion Week, so I was tied up doing other things,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't really have the funds to just up and leave and then try to come back and finish these obligations." But they're like, "Oh no, we'll take care of everything. Oh yeah, well, don't worry about it. We'll put you up in 4 seasons." And like, how long you need me? Oh,
No.
just a day. Okay, say less. So I go down there, do my thing, come back, finish what I had to do, and then boom. Like I wasn't thinking much of it like at the time.
Yeah.
I was like, no, oh shit, like this, because like you don't know what you don't know.
Nope.
So I'm not even knowing the process. Like I'm not knowing at the time. It may be 20, 30 people auditioning for the same role. You,
Right.
you know, again, until I got here and really got in the mix and seen how things work. Like I gotta chalk that up as a dub at the end of the day. No
Yep.
matter what the situation is.
It's
Yeah.
so crazy, because even for me, opportunities have kind of always worked like that. I think being in LA, what it's taught me is, and this is just me being very transparent and
Mhm.
honest here, I came prepared before I came to LA. And I thought I had done quite a bit of research. I thought I was, really prepared. And then because opportunities just kind of came to me, I was like, oh, this isn't how Hollywood works at all. This is not how
Right.
entertainment works. And by doing that, though, and by learning the process now, it's also made me a better entrepreneur. And what I want to ask you is, so then what inspired your transition from being a viral sensation, from doing Chris Brown's video and doing LMA's video, and building a business now?
Again, I just think it's based on leverage.
Mm,
Like I'm just always looking at ways to leverage my brand, or how do I get my face on this, or like how do I get into these circles? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
like you and I both know how huge, your connections and your resources are
it's
out
everything.
here. Yeah, like you can't survive out here without
Mm-mm.
having resources. And again, I mean, even the situation, we've been talking about recently
Yeah.
with my good friend, Tom from back home. And
Mm-hmm.
he was somebody that I met back in, 2019 through, a mutual friend, and we hit it off instantly. And that was somebody that was really in the field doing things in real estate on a large scale that
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do. But it's like, how do you even get to that point? You know, I'm talking about wholesaling and flipping houses. Yeah, like you don't even know these other opportunities exist
Right.
because who's gonna bring them to you? Who's gonna be like, hey, yeah, you know, we got this huge project going on. It's 150 keys and it's da 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 da. Would you happen to know anybody that's interested, or would you yourself, are you interested in this project? This is off market. Like you don't know. You're not gonna get invited to stuff like that unless you have those type of connections.
No.
So it was like, and he was one of the people to tell me that this is a world of favors. It was like, you know, you get paid for your favors when you're ready to cash them in. And it's like, prior to that, obviously I was doing things and I was maneuvering for whatever the case may be, whether it's brand deals or casting directors, um, producers, whatever the case is. Like I had these people in the arsenal, but like not knowing what to do with them,
Correct.
or hey, like I just know this person, but I don't want to just know this person just to know this person. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Like is there somewhere we can meet in the middle to where it's something you need, and it may be something I need, I don't know, 5, 10 years down the line. Like I might not need it right now, but like, can we establish that? You know, that was a big thing for me going into, you know, like figuring out the business side of this thing.
I actually just made a video about this recently, actually yesterday, I think. People don't understand the importance of a network. They don't
Mhm.
understand the power of leverage. And people also will, and this happens to me all the time, where someone will DM me and be like, "Oh, I need," or "Can you do," or
Right.
that's not how leverage works. That's not how
No.
relationship building works. That is not how networking works. And sometimes it is years, years. People, like, I had this conversation recently where someone was like, "Oh, I never follow up." You a
That's crazy.
fool.
That's crazy.
You are a fool. We are literally in the business of people and business of relationships, whether that's on the content creation side, working in entertainment, working as entrepreneurs and founders and CEOs of our own companies. The only way to thrive, even as a venture capitalist and angel investor, because people are like, "How do you get these deals? Where are the deal flows coming from?" They come to me. I have
Right.
never, not a single one have I ever sought out, but they were built on relationships that I had built for
Mm.
years. You and I actually met in 2020 or 2021.
Yep. Yep.
You know, it wasn't even on a content creation side. It was doing a real estate deal, on a
Yep.
massive real estate deal. That's how we met. And then 4 years later, again, we're having these conversations, or 3 years later, having these conversations about real estate, content creation, podcasting. But it takes years. There's a
Mm.
relationship that I had for 4 years that I had to cultivate. She became my publicist. Then it's, one of my really good friends, or was a business partner at the time on a deal, who
Mm.
now we've done 20, we met in 2019. We've done like 20 deals together now. But it requires patience and building true, genuine relationships with casting directors,
Right.
with even like, how do you guys get on red carpets? Those are all relationships that we've built. How do you, like,
Yeah.
we are in the nature of relationships when it comes to all of it. And I was going to ask you a different question, but I would love to kind of touch on, because I would be remiss if I didn't.
Mm.
We met doing a potential real estate deal. Like,
Right.
real estate isn't just a side hobby or like a toy for you. Like, you do this for someone who is looking to, like, for me, regular real estate when it comes to single family homes makes sense to me. Even like small, like 4 or 5 houses make sense to me, or like a condo makes sense to me. But now moving into like enterprise real estate and working
Mhm.
on like hotels, working on massive industry apartments, which we're working on right now, what advice would you give someone who's looking to enter real estate? Should they enter real estate given the current market? And then how can they nurture relationships in order to become a part of those conversations that aren't typical,
Mhm.
especially for people who look like us?
You know what? Here's the thing with me. So it's like when I jumped into real estate, I had a mentor. He's a real estate agent. He was in the game for like, I don't know, 20, 25 years at the time, and he showed me the ropes. I was
Mm-hmm.
his assistant before I got my license. So I was entrenched in, you know, doing all his the cards and cold calling and yeah, all that good stuff. Learning the MLS. But it was like the end goal was to always figure out the investing side because those are two different worlds. Like
Correct.
you know. But it's like when I left real estate in 2015 to kind of like piggyback and pursue this new lane I kind of
Mm-hmm.
carved for myself, always kept in mind, like along the way, like you still know what you want to do at the end of the
Yeah.
day. You know it's gonna fall back to real estate at some point in time. It's just it's the timing and what scale like are you trying to pursue at this time.
Mm-hmm.
So like kind of going back to the conversation with Tom when I first met him, he kind of let me know that I was thinking too small. You know, it
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, if you basically he was like, if you raise 50,000, this is hypothetical, to
Sure.
put down, you know, going on a property that's I don't know 225 or whatever the case may be. He was like, if the bare minimum is 50, that's what you need. We can go buy more doors. I mean, we can spread this leverage around, we can spread the risk around. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, for real? You know, like
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I think it still goes along with the network and the personal branding side. Like for one, you need to have a good face card and work on that and cultivate relationships.
Yes.
But then you got to be strategic about which rooms you want to be in and like why
Mm-hmm.
you want to be in them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I kind of talk about this sometimes when it comes to fashion, and it's like, okay, we go to events all the time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like you mix and mingle. You may have a drink, you may run into somebody that you need to meet or you would like to meet.
Yeah.
Okay, you can go about it the cold way. There's different angles to take. You may know a mutual person, whatever the case may be. But in the same token, when it comes to fashion, you can kind of be strategic about what you put on and why you
Yes.
put it on. So it's
Yep.
like, I'm a huge Robert Graham fan, and it's like when I go to these events, it might be in Beverly Hills or I don't know, something that's more, I guess, prestigious, if you want to say that. I'm like, all right, I'm putting this Robert Graham on because like you know that I know. Like if you got one on too, like
Yep.
we here, and I will go out of my way to go holler at you and be like, "It's Robert Graham, right?
I
What
see you.
collection is it?" You know. And then like I made relationships just based off that. Like we're into the same stuff, and then the conversation may it may go on a little further. And you kind of see what this person's into and vice versa. But
Yeah.
it's sometimes it's just that simple.
Hey, listen, I can't lie. I have intentionally worn something knowing that it would be a topic of conversation. And then
Exactly.
for someone like me who's shy and introverted, who doesn't like approaching people, it would bring people to me and then I'm
Yeah.
good.
Like
I'm like,
you literally flip the game. Like you make it work for you.
so let me ask you, in what ways has social media influence then created an approach to connecting with your audience while also developing your brand?
You know what? This has definitely changed for me throughout the years because, like, when I first started, it was more of like, obviously, it's like the content I was creating at the time was like hypersexualized. I got my shirt off all the time. I'm doing teaser videos. So it was like, there was this barrier, there was this wall of like not being able to really show who I am and what I'm into.
You better preach
And
because I had the same problem.
yeah, so it was like, I would say within the last 3, 4 years, I've been able to break free from that
Yep.
and just do me. And it's like if you rock with me, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But like this is who I am. Like I'm a nerd. I like gaming. I'm a foodie. Always in the gym. I love Harry Potter. Like I'm probably one of the biggest Harry Potter fans. I got a tattoo on my back. It
Are
is
you
what it
serious?
is.
Oh, you serious? Serious?
No, I'm dead ass. Dead ass. Look, been to King's Cross Station, you know what I'm saying? Like where they had
I love
platform
it.
9, 3/4, everything. But like those are things that I was holding back. So it's like
Yeah.
this is even like a new side of myself that I'm getting accustomed to as I'm creating now. And I mean, obviously, you get that resistance a bit because people are used to
For
you
sure.
showing up a certain type of way. But like, I don't even mind the drop off. Like, I don't even care at this point. It's like the response that I've been getting lately, just telling stories. Like I have so
Hmm.
many stories I've never told before, and I'm just like, oh shit, I just been sitting on these stories. Like I'm not thinking anything of them, but like for somebody that's looking to do what I do or just interested in the space, like they may want to hear the story. So
Yeah.
now that's all I'm focusing on. And I'm selling the good, the bad, the ugly, just just giving it a buck in this new chapter, not only of like my life, but in content creation as well. Because
Yeah.
not to dive too much into it, like, I lost my pops last year, and it kind of just changed everything for me and how I looked at life.
Yeah.
Because I'll admit, prior to losing him, you know the hustle and bustle, of entertainment and
Hmm.
content creation, like it's never ending.
Yeah.
I didn't even know why I was going so hard. You know what I mean? Like what I was chasing. I just knew that you had to be hungry, and you had, the drop of a dime, you get an opportunity, you gotta jump. You
Right.
gotta make it happen. I'm
Right.
like, why the fuck am I doing all this? I don't even know. And then it wasn't until like he passed, I was like, yo, I gotta slow down. I gotta reel it in. I even
Yeah.
had to take a step back from that industry to dial in more so like what I want to pursue now and just who I am now. Because I'm not that same person I was 10 years ago when I first
Right.
got started.
Right.
And I had to kill my ego for sure
Hmm.
and be like that's cool. Like there's gonna be another Donny Savage. Like it's his time right now, or whoever that person may be.
Right.
They got the juice. I'm passing the torch. Do your thing. I'll support you doing it.
Right.
I'm just not doing that anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I can absolutely resonate. I remember, first of all, I'm so sorry about your dad.
I
Um,
appreciate it.
there is something about grief. So for me, it's been 2 years, and same thing, would hustle and hustle and hustle and run. And I'd be back and forth from DC to LA, DC to LA, DC to LA. I was
Mhm.
coming here 8 to 10 times a month
That's a
and being
lot,
back
bro.
home in time to take my kids to school. Like it was sheer madness. And I remember there's a few times my best friend would say, "Could you stop by in Charlotte? Could you stop by in Charlotte? Could you stop by in Charlotte?" And I was like, "I can't. I'm on my way to LA. I'm on my way to whatever." And I was like, "I love you so much. I'm on my way whatever." And um, finally made the stop. Had the best time. I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna come back. I promise I'm gonna come back." And then I never got the opportunity to go back. And she was just gone one day. And grief has changed how I operate in my business. Grief has changed how I operate in my personal life. Grief has changed um, just really every aspect of who I am. And I'm with you. The hustle and bustle doesn't really make sense to me anymore.
Yeah.
If it's not intentional, I'm not going. And I always, actually, we were talking about this about a friend's birthday party recently. Like, literally, if it doesn't make me money, if it doesn't have intentionality for me to be there, I'm not going. If I'm going just to be seen, if I'm going just to be pretty, if I'm going to be a wallflower, I'm not going. If it's for clout, if it's just to be, for people to see that I was there, I'm not, I don't care who is there. I'm not going. But it's also been an interesting balance of intentionality and like opportunities. Cause like I know that I've missed out on opportunities because I didn't go somewhere,
Mhm.
but I also know that what's for me is for me, and when the time is right, it will come back to me. And I think it's also understanding like what that looks like for us as entrepreneurs
Mhm.
when I've just missed out on opportunities that I know would do well and would have gone well had I gone, but it just wasn't the right time and place for me, and I had to be okay with that.
Mhm.
um but no, you know even as I think about what I aspire and what I want, those things have changed and evolved. Where I thought my career would be in 2019 when I started Sarah Lovestyle, and then even starting ITE in 2022, it looks different now, or 2023, it looks different now. What the
Mhm.
brand looks like at this point, what my personal brand looks like. Before 2022, let me tell you, before she died, my page was curated, it was perfect, it was pretty, I was doing transitions, and people loved like the sexy dresses and they loved the transitions, like they loved that for me. But that's not who I am. I'm actually really effing smart, and I have knowledge in ed tech and fintech and CPG, and there's just real estate, there's so many other things that I was doing in the background. Like people would never believe that we met working on a potential hotel deal. Like
Right,
nobody
right.
would believe that of me or from me when at the time I'm doing sexy transitions. And so creating this brand was important for me so that people can see that you are allowed to you're allowed to be multifaceted. You're allowed to love different things and be really good at different things while also building a personal brand and evolving as you evolve as a person.
Mhm.
So that's my 2 cents. What are your thoughts?
No, like you nailed it. Like that's I feel the same exact way. Uh, Even to the point where I'm thinking about the content I was doing 3 years ago. I'm like, I don't have the energy to go do 8 to 10 outfit changes, like just to do it. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Just 'cause I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get the views. It is, it's like exhausting for
Yes.
me. You know, like
Sweating, hot.
yeah, I would rather, I would rather like put that fit on and then set the camera up and like give you something real or
Right.
tell you a story, give you some insight,
Yep.
and this just have that be a secondary, versus just being focused on that alone. Because like for me, it's almost like, and it's no shade to anybody, you know what I mean? It's just
Yeah.
like where we are right now.
Right.
It's kind of like taking the easy way out to a certain degree. It's like, okay, you know what it's gonna do. It's in this realm of, the fashion, the looks and stuff. But it's like we were doing that 3, 4 years ago. Like we were supposed to keep evolving. Like it's up to somebody else that's like catching the fashion wave to take the reins and do that now. You know what I mean? Like we pass the torch and we move on and we keep that in the repertoire, but then spin it into something else. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like that may be uh turn into a stylist and like actually styling
Mm-hmm.
people, the athletes and entertainers. Like like you've leveled up a bit. That's how I'm looking at things now. I'm just, I told you that's why it was so difficult for me to shoot content in this room now. 'Cause like I got to
Yep.
set the lights up. I'm like, this, this keeps me at peace because I'm at the crib. I'm scripted out my videos. I can just do
Yep.
my thing. And it's like, it's almost frictionless.
Have you noticed, and then I think you kind of slightly mentioned this, and I want to make sure that I note this for anyone who's listening.
Hmm.
You're going to lose followers when you do that. When you evolve, I lost thousands and thousands of followers. I remember the first like 3,000 drop when I like started
Hmm.
the brand change. And they were like, no, 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 we want this. We want the clothes, we want the fashion, we want the transitions, we want the beauty. But I was, as much as I wanted to panic, the easiest thing for me to do was to continue to feed the monster and give them what they want. But that is not the direction in which I wanted my career to go. And that's not the direction in which my life was going and who Sarah Hood, not Sarah Lifestyle, was evolving to be. And even Sarah Lifestyle, I knew where I wanted it to lead. And doing that was not going to work for me. I'm 37 now. Back then I was 32. It's very different. And I'm allowed to be evolved. I'm allowed to evolve. But like, just so you're aware for anyone listening, you're going to lose followers. You're going to lose people who drop off, and that's perfectly okay because the people you're meant to serve and give value to will find you.
I've done this before. Maybe you've done it before. A lot of us look at the numbers as just primarily numbers and not accounting, not looking into the fact that these are people. These are people just like you.
Yep.
Their interests change. Maybe they were 18 where they first caught your wave, and now they're
Mm-hmm.
25, and like okay, they're interested in this now, and like
Right.
cooking, and like they got a family, so
Yes.
like. And we have to take all those things into account, and we can't take it personally. Like
Right.
I've had a ton of conversations recently and just over the years, and I think a lot of creators are taking it personally. Like, yeah, it's the algorithm. It's like, as much as it could be, it could also be people just evolving at the same time. You're evolving. You're not even into the same thing anymore. You
No,
know?
I don't know. Well, like my story is I went from doing a brand deals and partnership deals that were a few $100s and it was like $1,500 and it was $2,500. And then it was like the joke about getting equity. The company said yes, they exit. And my eyes opened up to that one experience, like opened up everything that I could have, more than I could have ever imagined. And so then, I take that then to real estate. And then it went from working on like $500,000 deals to 1.2 million, and then it was 5 million, and then 10 million, and then 20 million, and then we're working on $80 million deals, and
Mhm.
um, or even like deals where they're 150 million. We're talking exits of 200 million and a billion. And once you're exposed to those rooms and you're exposed to those numbers, you like for me, I felt like I needed to share it. That's why influence to equity was so important to me. It's like I literally went from making $500 for a partnership to getting equity in parts of deals and acquisitions that were worth 1.2 billion. That's the lifestyle I want to live. I don't want to look great for the internet. I want to actually live the life that I'm trying to promote or show you. And there's so much available where like I'm not just a mom. I'm not just a special needs mom. I'm not just an autism mom. I'm not
Mhm.
just, an influencer or a creator, but there's so many more titles that you get to hold when you can leverage social media and leverage just relationships. And if you lose people, so effing what? Because the people who find you will find you and you'll become a part of those deals, or they'll make space for you in rooms based on the reputation and the brand that you've built for yourself.
I agree. Like you, you nailed that. And I'll even take it a step further. It was like I was feeling this way for a while, and I had to finally come out and make a video about it. I made it maybe like, I don't know, a month or two ago. But I was encouraging other creators to like not focus primarily on brand deals. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to take things a step further. Like obviously, if you've aligned yourself with a brand, it's like, does it make sense for you now? Is it a quick money grab? Is it a long-term situation?
Mm-hmm.
Could you potentially create a similar product and it come from you and
Correct.
it makes it resonate even more because you've done it and you're sharing it with your audience. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's like you can take your power back because I've seen the highs, I've seen the lows, and I can definitely say the game has changed a lot.
Yes.
And it's like you can't bank on this entirely for your income. You know what I mean? Like you have to be more strategic about it. And I'm a firm believer in just trying to drop your own products or share the knowledge that you garnered. Like that's the phase I'm in right now where
Right.
I'm really considering like one-on-one coaching, like talking about stuff like this or
Mm-hmm.
consulting.
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of getting my personal training certification to obviously like have another avenue, but it allows me to continue to meet more people. I'm training them. We have, candid conversations. We can talk business, we
Yes.
can talk life, whatever the case may be. And you just kind of, you add those things to the repertoire, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like obviously you wouldn't be surprised because but to the audience, like you would be surprised at the fact that you can turn nothing into something off a simple conversation, a simple relationship. And it's like when it comes to the brands, if you don't put it in their ear of like what you specialize in or what you're really good at, like, yeah, you look good on camera, you can create the content, but
Yep.
you may come in as their primary creative director or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. Like is real.
Donnie, what? Oh my gosh, I feel like I could talk to you forever. We might have to do a part two.
Let's
What
do it.
what advice would you give to aspiring content creators or aspiring folks who want to go into entertainment to monetize their viral moments and establish themselves in the industry?
Have whether it's a day job or whatever it is that you do to keep the bills paid. Like do that and work on this, work on like this avenue like in the time where you're not at your primary job. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Like this is I'm telling people this because this is where I fell behind at one point in time where
Mm,
like I'm banking on this, but you're banking on the celebrity and things change, the trends change. You may not always be that it person and you have to
mm-hmm.
learn how to adapt. So it's like for me, I don't have an issue telling you like, hey, I'm about to go do this because I want to be able to completely like fund and hire video editors and stuff for my YouTube videos so I don't have to do everything hands on. I'm like, I'm gonna do
Man,
this
listen.
to fund this and then I'll get the merch
Yep.
and it all just comes together, and then we still do the deals on the side. Like for the longest, you don't want to be candid and let people into your world to let you know how real shit gets, but like that,
Hmm.
those are the growing moments.
Yes.
And I guess like how I can bridge the gap with the content creation thing. It's like I would say be intentional with what you're trying to do. We see a lot of people with views. It doesn't necessarily equate to money. You have to figure out how to serve your audience. You know what I mean? If you're
Hmm.
gonna entertain, that's cool. But like now we have this new phenomenon like what do they call it? Edutainment, where
Hmm.
you're entertaining and you're educating at the same time. You can
Yep.
meet in the middle and turn that into something lucrative where it's still giving advice, it's still giving tips. I think it's amazing because it's like you're watching a mini short, but you're really getting something out of it. You're not just laughing and then you
Yep.
sorry, I'm out to swipe. You're like, oh, this is where you get this fragrance. I laughed, but they put me on game. I'm gonna go
Correct.
grab it. If he has his own fragrance, I might go grab it, or his own style guide, I might go grab it.
Correct.
Like you have to give some real value because the game has changed. Like the views, just for the sake of views, do not count for anything because I would say the barrier to entry has dropped so low. Anything
Right.
and everything can go viral. So the word viral is diluted, in my opinion.
I have two videos going viral right now, and it doesn't mean anything but like 40 cents right now. It doesn't mean
I feel you.
anything.
I feel look. There was a Harry Potter reaction video. It was like some AI trap song that I posted maybe I don't know like last month.
I'm weak.
I was not even expecting this shit to go viral, but it's brought so much traffic to my page, and I'm
Hmm.
like, it's funny that we're talking about this because I kind of want to categorize this for a second. There's a there's a content creator. His name is Tom, I think Noski or Nos. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's
Hmm.
Australian, and I've been watching him for a while, and he's really dialed into like his process across the board from start to finish of the content creation and like being intentional why he's doing it.
Hmm.
And he has these pillars. He broke it down into authority, growth, and authenticity.
Hmm.
And then he has 5 formats for his content. So you might get carousels, you might get um a reel, you might get a post that's technically longer than a reel, but the video is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a cheat code if you didn't know that. But
Good
they
to
all
know.
serve a different purpose. So like he grows when he wants to grow.
Hmm.
He drops something authentic when he wants you to feel him. And then
Yeah.
when it comes down to the authoritative content, these may be case studies and real metrics that he can back up based on what he's done in his business or what his students have done in their business.
Hmm.
And mind you, I'm just getting a hold of this information within the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months to the fact that I can contextualize it now and make it make sense. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh shit, this is the cheat code because you can't do all those things at the same time
No.
and respect like the outcome you want.
Right.
Like if it's sales content, just make it sales content. Like
Hmm.
don't try to make it some underlining thing. Like no, is this sales? This is sales. This is a call to action.
Yeah.
Boom. Or you trying to capture a lead? Cool. If it's to bring more traffic, all right, that might be reposting the viral video. It might be reposting like doing a reaction or something that's trending. You piggyback off that, you leverage it, you bring more eyes, to your page. Not everybody will rock with you the entire time, but it may be, I don't know, 4 or 5 people that you turn into new audience members. Like
Right.
that's how you use that process. It blew my mind.
I think often about, and I remember hearing this story. This was several years ago, and I promised myself that this would not happen, and then it happened to me.
Mhm.
Um, I think having the expectation or wanting to go viral without something for people to buy or finding a way for them to really get to know you and to join a community is such a waste. I remember
Such a waste.
it's such a waste. I remember there was this business owner. Um, she had posted this video. The video goes viral. She doesn't have a website. She hadn't posted the product up yet. So she wasted There was, I think they said over like 1 million people that drove to the website, and nothing was ready, nothing was prepared. So she lost out on God knows how many people and how many impressions of people who could have either gone into a community with her
Mhm.
or been able to support her by actually buying and purchasing from her store, which as a small business can make or break you.
Right.
And then if you're a content creator, having somewhere where you can take them offline. If you go viral and you're not having, adding people to your email list, if you're not having them go purchase a program or a course or something or a product, like it's such a waste to have 65 million views or 5 million views and then have nowhere to send the audience. It's,
Right.
if you are someone who's an aspiring creator or someone aspiring to go into entertainment, like the game has changed. Even for entertainment,
Yeah.
like you don't need to necessarily go to auditions anymore. You don't necessarily need to be on a show. If you want to go into entertainment, effing entertain.
Yeah. Literally.
Go entertain. There are billions of people on these social platforms. Go effing entertain and find your way into rooms. Hell, it's working for me. I'm effing entertaining and it's leading me into auditions and it's leading me into like shows. But I know for me that that was my intent. It is with intention. Every piece of content that I post is so
Mhm.
intentional that even if I'm not monetizing that particular post, I will be able to monetize it with an opportunity. And I think that's
Right.
important.
I feel like to a certain degree, I feel like I was late to the game when it came to that.
Me
And
too.
it's like it is what it is at this point.
Me
I
too.
don't feel any type of way about it. And like I think you even have a better grasp on that than I do. And I would love to talk to you outside of this about
Yeah,
that as far as like um really putting those pieces together.
sure.
Um but no, that's crucial. It's having a funnel. It's
Yes.
having an extension of yourself, whether it's a course or coaching, consulting, um, something of value to show up with at the end of the day. And like prior to us doing this podcast, I was thinking about potential questions you would ask or like certain topics I would want to talk about. And you nailed this one because Hollywood has changed. It's like 5, 6 years ago, you needed to come here
Mm-hmm.
in order to be a part of this. Like there was no doubt about it. Like you had to pull up, you had to get your connections, you had to see what was what. But now you could you can live in I don't know, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Yep.
You can stay in your pocket and you can pull up when you want to, like whenever
Yep.
you choose to come tap
Mm-hmm.
in and you can go back to your space, your comfort zone. You don't have to come out here and be in the belly of the beast because it's not for everybody.
No.
It's brutal, you know.
No. Let's talk about your product. What are you launching and why is this important to you right now?
Oh, look, I'm on my second collection of the Camp Savage merch. Um, that first round went the POD route, print on demand, and it was cool. Look, I had no expectations when it came down to selling, and I sold some items, and I was like, all right, cool. Let me go back to the drawing board and fine tune the quality now.
Mm.
So I'm like, I want to take things a step further and find actual manufacturer that can create whatever I'm thinking about from
Mm-hmm.
scratch. And we've been working on this second collection. Um, Supposed to go get my samples within the next couple days or so. We'll see about that, but I got hats on the way. I'm extremely happy about that because it exemplifies like where I am right now
Mm.
at this stage of my career and also community building. Like, yeah, I got the stage name Donny Savage, but Camp Savage
Mm.
is an extension of like myself, the community I'm trying to build and where I'm moving forward, like I can admit early in my career, the focal point was just like myself and
Mm.
how much attention I could get, how many resources could I garner, what could I book. But now it's like, who can I help? How can I help them? What type of resources can I give them? Can I give them some insight? Can I shave 10 to 15 years off their learning curve?
Mm-hmm.
Having one simple conversation that's 10 minutes. Like boom, I give you the game, run off, take it, do your thing. I'm excited about this. And that's, Camp Savage Life on Instagram. for the merch, and then for like my personal page, the real Donny Savage.
Donnie, thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't wait to talk again. Thank you so, so much for coming on.